Hey guys, welcome to Software Original, and on this lesson also we're going to continue building up our video editing app in Flutter. Alright, so from my statistics, YouTube is telling me that most of my viewers watching my video have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, and because of that they don't get notification anytime I upload any video. So please, if you want to be part of the family, please subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell icon, and what it does is it actually sends you notification anytime I come online or I just upload any video. So if you are willing not to miss any video, please do well to subscribe to my channel. Alright, thank you very much. On our previous lesson we learned so far, we saw how we could create this awesome screen, and that was the search section where you can search for projects and all that, right? And also we worked on the mix screen, and that was awesome. So we are done with this, we are done with this, we are done with this, and then we are done with this. Even inside here we have the new project section here as well. So that actually means that we are good to go. Now on today's video, what we're going to do for today is actually going to be the most important thing people are looking for and the most complicated thing people are looking for. So let me quickly give you a breakdown. This is what we're actually going to do today, and this is what most of the people are waiting for. Alright, so this whole thing is being break down into widgets, or let's say into columns and rows. So let me quickly give you an explanation of how the whole thing works. Now, the whole thing is, let me just zoom it out a little for you to understand. Just want to zoom it out a little for you to understand. Let's see. Okay. All right. So yeah. Now, let's say that the whole thing right here is a scaffold, and I believe you know that by now. Now this whole section also carries a column as a return of the scaffold, and inside this column there is it's a row, and inside this row there is a widget here, which is a column widget. And we have another widget here, which is another column widget. And inside that column widget, there is another widget again, and that is a row widget, which contains this screen and this screen. So you can see there is a division from here. Alright, I believe you understand what I'm trying to say here. And this section is actually going to be a container, or let's say a space, where your video timeline will be. But when you take a good look at this section, it is a column which comes down, and there is a row for that. Now let me quickly explain this to you. We can manually do this, but also there are other alternatives we can pass through. We can either use Figma to do the design, we bring it up here, or we can just go to Photoshop, we do the design, then we bring it up here. But this is my idea. Now this guy here, the whole thing, let me just quickly give you what I'm trying to say here. This whole thing can be a column, and this column, from this section, it can contain a child to be a row. The column can contain one child. The children can be another container, and it can contain another container as well. And here this container is actually a row, and there is a space between this two buttons. And here too, the main axis the main, I think the main cross axis, the main axis alignment is actually going to be to the end. So from here, basically it's very simple, but if you don't really take your time, you will never understand. Let me give you the scenario before we hop into the lesson. This whole thing, it contains a row and a column. Now the first widget is a column, and the column contains one child as a container, to be a container with a button or anything like that. And it contains another child, which is actually going to be a column, a row. So inside the row there is a layer and a text, there is another image and a text, and there is a layer and let's say a button and a text inside the row. Now there is another child here which can actually be a container, and it's actually going to contain a button as this contains. I'm just taking my time to break everything down for you to really understand, because the whole thing, this side is very complicated, and that is the side we're going to tackle a lot most. So I believe on this lesson we're just going to give the construction. We will try to see how we can work things out. So with no further ado, let's hop right into Alright, so with no further ado, let's hop right into today's edition. Oh, sorry, my microphone. Alright, sorry, my microphone was messing up. So with no further ado, let's just hop right into today's edition, then let's keep going. Alright guys, so there you go. So I have this screen here. Quickly, I'll just create a new screen, just new, then I go in for a new .dat file. Right? Okay, so with this .dat file, I'm actually going to give it a name. I'm just going to call this edit screen. .dart. So I have the edit screen here. I'm just going to add it up to my Git. So I have the edit screen here. Let me quickly just close everything because I really don't need all of them. So I have the edit screen here. Let me quickly just close everything from here. Perfect. So with the edit screen, I can simply import the packages. That is the material package. Of course, we're going to use that. Then I'm going to create a stateful widget, and I'm going to call it edit screen, just like this. And I'm just going to remove this since I'm not using null safety. Just going to remove it. And this is what I have here. Now I will quickly go back to my create project screen, and from the create project screen, which means when I click on this button, it's actually going to end me up here. When I click on this create button, I want it to redirect me to that page, right? Good. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to add a navigator dot push. So it's actually going to push, right? Or I can, okay, so let's say push replacement. So we're just going to use push replacement, and the context is actually going to be a material page route, and the builder is going to be a context. And here we're just going to route to a page which is actually going to be the edit page, edit screen, just like that. Then we end it up. So we can easily add up a const modifier to this, and it's actually going to work perfectly fine. Excellent. So let's save this, and let's just click on this guy here. But before I do that, you see we have the color here. So I'm just going to cut this color, just going to cut it, and I'm just going to call this color button color. So I'll just go back to my colors, just go inside my colors, and I'll just call the color, then I call it button color as I did out there. Then I just paste this, then I just save this up. So let's go back to the project, and with the button color, let's just import it up. Let's just add it. Okay, all right, perfect. So it actually works like the same thing. So I will just click on this create button, so it navigates me to a different whole screen. Now from this create project, so from this edit screen, so where is that edit screen anyway? Yeah, this is edit screen. I'm just gonna close everything, then I'm gonna work on the edit screen. So from this edit screen, instead of returning a container, I'm just going to return a scaffold right here so that I can see whatever I'm doing clearly. So inside the scaffold, I'm just going to add an app bar, which is going to be an app bar just like this. Perfect. Now what I want to do is, anytime I just click on here, just click on this, I want this whole screen to be in the landscape mode, because when you take a look at the King Master, it looks like it is in the landscape mode. All right, so let's work that out. Now from here, I'm just going to declare an init state. So with the init state, we just have to add up our function to do here. So I'm just going to use the system. I'm just going to use the system Chrome. Yes, and I'm just gonna say dot set preferences, and the preferences is actually going to be the direction. So I'm just gonna say so I'm just going to use the preferred orientation. Sorry. So I'm just going to use the preferred orientation, and the orientation is going to be the device orientation dot landscape left, and we say device orientation dot landscape right, just like this. Then okay, so this device actually is going to be in, let's just cut it, let's add this curly braces, let's put it in here, then let's just end it up. Perfect. So this void init state is actually going to function anytime our our scaffold or our page is built or our widget is being built. So quickly, I'll just go back, click here again, click here again, and there you go. Voila, it is working perfectly fine. So let's just shift it up. Let's do it this way. So I'm just gonna push this a little, then I just take this out so that we can see whatever we are doing clearly. So now the app bar is no more needed because there is no app bar here, but we have this button which will exit the screen. So you just have to go back, and you just specify the body, and the body is actually going to be as I said, is going to be a column. So inside this column, we actually need it's going to be a row, which of course we need two how do I say this we need two children in a row. So this is going to be a row, and the children is actually going to be maybe an expanded widget, and this expanded widget, the child is going to be a container, and yeah. So inside this container, let's set a height to media query dot of context dot size dot height, and we set the width to maybe 50, just like this. And also, to see if it is working, let's just reformat this code. To see if it is working, we just have to specify a color for this. So I'm just going to say colors.red for now, and let's save it up. Let's see what it happens. So we have a whole red page. So with this expanded widget, let's just copy and let's paste it one more time, right? Okay, so this container here, we're just going to change the color to blue. So if we are using the expanded widget, that means the width and the height is actually not important, right? But when we just remove the expanded widget from them, is actually gonna work. You can then see the sizing of them just like this, right? Good. So with the width of this container is actually going to be the media query, the same thing here, and it's going to be dot width. Excellent. So you see it has, you know, a render flex, so we can actually wrap this with I mean we can actually wrap this how is the edit screen anyway? We can wrap this with a widget, then we add an expanded widget to this. Perfect. Then the problem is solved. Now, as you can see from here, it is quite big, right? It is very big. So let's just, instead of saying 50, let's set it up to 80 instead. Boom, there you go. So we are good to go. Now we have to add up some child. We have to add up a child to this, and the child will be containing a column as a child, and the children of the column is actually going to be buttons. So let me just separate this for you to really understand what I'm trying to say here. All right, so the children of these are going to be these guys right here, right? Excellent. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 buttons, right? So this is actually going to be the structure we are really talking about. So let me quickly say this. Is either we build up the structure, then we come and we do the design, or we just do the design, then we come up, then we build a structure. But I'm going in for a 1-hour video, so I think anywhere we land, we'll just keep on going. All right then. So whilst we've gotten this, I'll just add up a container, and I'll just set the container to maybe let's set a width to maybe this is 80, right? So let's make it 70, and let's make the height also to be 70. So it's going to be a square, and I'm just going to add up a color. All right. Okay, so I just add up a color. So I'm just going to use the blue. Perfect. Okay, so I just add this and I will get that one here. Perfect. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to add a safe area to this body. So I just wrap it with a widget, and that is actually going to be a safe area. So what it does is it brings this down just like this. So I will wrap this container with a padding, right? I'll just wrap this with a padding. So what I don't know the reason why anytime I have to close it and bring it back before I get it. So I'm just gonna wrap it up with a padding just like this, so I can get it right here. Oh, sorry, that is not what I need. I need to wrap this instead. So I'm wrapping this with a padding, and there you go. Perfect. Now I will love to set this to 90. That is the width. I'll just set it up to 90. I think 90 is quite enough. And yeah, so this is quite interesting. So with this padding, I can just copy this padding, paste it several times, right? And I'll get everything right here. And you see, it is quite not responding. So I can easily go to the, the row, and I'll say the main axis alignment. I'm just going to use main axis dot space between. So it's actually gonna try to shift this for it to suit it up, but you see the items are many, so it's actually not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use instead of returning a container and it contains a column. Okay, so this is where let's just try to add up it here. Let's see. All right, so it's still not working, right? So let's see the cross axis to see cross. Okay, so whilst it is not working, the children shouldn't be, I mean, the column itself, we can just change it to, a list view, or we can easily change it to be a single child scroll view, right? All right, so we can easily wrap this. Let's just wrap this with a single child scroll view, then let's see what happens. Perfect. So the problem is solved. Now that means this container is actually one side of it. So I'm just going to add a comment here, and I'm just going to say this is the first left side of of the main row, right? Something like this. So now we have another expanded widget right here, and inside there is a container with a blue color. And when you take a good look at this, we've already declared this, right? So we have another column inside this guy, so we just have to specify the child. So I'll just come here, specify the child to be another column, and the children of the column is going to be now we have the column, right? So that is the column for these two, right? So the column we've created, this is the whole column because it contains two things, and this is going to be a row. So let's build up this row, then we add a container to this, right guys? So that is it. So let's just add a row first. So let's do that. So just going to add a row, and inside this row we're going to add a children, and the children is going to be maybe an expanded widget, and the child is going to be a container. And inside the container, just specify the color to be colors dot maybe green. Perfect. And we specify, all right, so let's just maintain this for now. So this expanded widget is going to be copied, and let's paste it one more time, and instead of saying green, we're just going to say pink, right? So let's just save this, and we will get a two containers in here, right? So what is actually happening here? Have a container, specify the width and the height, and the child is actually going to be a column. There is a row. Okay, let's just remove the expanded widget for now, then let's set the width of this to be maybe 200. Then let's set color. Okay, so let me just copy this, and let's paste it in here. Then let's save it and let's see what happens. Yeah, so we just add a height to this as well. So we're just going to say the height is actually going to be a media query dot of context, and we're just going to say dot size dot height, and I'm just going to copy the same thing for the second one just after this width. There you go. So let's just reformat the code to see it very clearly. So there you go. Perfect. Now when we save this, you see we have, this is how it actually looks like, right? So the width is 200, and then the height is, media query. So we're just going to use the media query for this same width, and we're just going to say the width. Just going to copy this, then I paste this right here. We are just building up the the construction, and it actually gives us an overflow. So that is the reason why I normally love to use the expanded, right? So you have to take your time, you go through everything, make sure you understand whatever you are doing, make sure it suits to your standard, right? So I normally love adding expanded widget so that it actually expands the whole thing, right? Perfect. Let's see. All right, perfect. So now we have this expanded widget to be in equal size, but the main container here, you see there is a row, and that is the row for this, and inside the row we have a container, and the container is going to be this side, and we have the expanded that is going to be this side, and inside the expanded we have another container, and the container has a width and a height, right? So we can either try to, all right, let's just see something here. With the row, we just have to wrap the row with an expanded widget. So with a row, just wrap the row with an expanded widget, and that is actually going to solve this problem. Perfect. So this expanded widget, we have a column, and after the column, so this is the end of the expanded, so after the column we can easily add a container, and we can just specify a color for that. So let's say colors dot green, let's say indigo, and let's set the width to the media query dot of context, and we're just going to say dot size dot width, and with the height to is going to be a media query dot of context, and just going to say dot size dot height, right? All right, let's just reformat this. Good. Let's save this, and there you go. So it is very, very big, so just have to try and wrap this up with an expanded widget as well. Perfect. So this is the screen we've built so far, and as you can see here, this space has a lot space than this. So let me quickly explain this to you. This space have to get more room than this, so let's fix that. So this is the main container, which has the expanded widget and another expanded widget. So this expanded widget should get a flex of maybe 4. Then let's see how it actually looks like. Good. So that means we need a flex of 3, or a flex of 2 is quite enough. So let's use a flex of 2, and 2 is quite good. Yes, so we have this. The same thing applies to these expanded widgets. So this also should have a flex of 2, so this will shift up here. Perfect. Right, guys? So this is what we have created at the end of the day, and as you can see, I'm just giving you the structure of how we can go about with our designs, right? So whilst we've gotten everything, we've made sure that everything here is quite interesting. I believe it's good for us to keep on going. So now let's start with the left side here. the things we have here, let's just try and put them in place. In my case, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna use a button to just keep it going. So with a scaffold, I mean with a main scaffold, so let's go up now. With a scaffold, with the background of the scaffold, I'll just say BG color, call it from the colors, and I'll get a BG color just like this. Perfect. Now I have this side container. Let me just close this, expanded. Let me start with a container here. So from this container, that is the buttons, right? So inside one padding, so let's just remove this color from here. We don't need this color. So it's actually going to be the transparent to this image. Perfect, as you can see from here. So I just need a color for this. So with a button, with a container, I'll just wrap it up. The child is actually going to be a button, right? So this container, I'll just specify the child to be a button, so that can be an elevated button. Then we have the unpressed, yeah, and we have the child to be a text. And let's see, it's actually not going to be a text, but it's going to be an icon. So I'll just use an image here instead of using icon. So I'm just going to use image assets, right? So what I'm going to do here is I have the images already there. I have arranged some images, which of course I want to share with you guys. I'll be giving you the link in the description, and I've given it a name called icons. So I'm just going to copy this icon folder, just copy it, and I'll just come to my projects. Inside the assets here, I'll just paste it in here as icons, right guys? So I just add all of these icons. But before, let me just rename these guys. Just delete this for now. I just want to rename it so that I can easily call them. So let me go back to my icons. I was supposed to do this, guys, but I think I forgot. So inside my icons, I'm just going to rename them to lens. This is actually going to be exit. So this is going to be exit, and this is going to be full screen. So let me just pause the video and come back after rename. Alright guys, so I have renamed everything to be neat. So I'm just going to do it one more time. Just copy that. I'm just going to come inside my assets, then I just paste it out here. So I just paste it, just add everything in here. So inside my icons, I have everything here. So I just have to go to my pop spec EBL, and inside the assets here, I'll just add another assets. Then I just call the icons, just like this. Then I just save this. So I'll just run a pop get, and that is going to link all the images to my project, right? Perfect. Now you can see I have a blank image here, so I just have to go back to the edit screen, and then I get the dependencies. Perfect. So I just have to make sure I am working with the correct icons right here. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go here inside my image. Let me just add a const. Perfect. Then just remove this const. Then let's just reformat this. So we have the image here. So the image, I can easily create a class for the images so that I can change them anytime I want to change it. But I prefer to do it this way, just direct one. So this is the back arrow. So I think for my icons, I have the back arrow, right? There is no back arrow here, so I'll just go inside my Picon. That is where I got all the images, and I'll just copy. I'll just move this here, just like that. Then I just rename it to be back, just like that. So I'll just drag and drop this image to the icons here, just reflect it, then it will be here. Add it up. So I have the delete, I have the back and all that here. Perfect. So I'm just gonna right click on the back, then I go to copy the path. I'm just gonna say copy path. This copy path or reference, just click on that, and I need this path, right? Just this path, or this path is quite good. So I'm just gonna come here inside this, then I paste this, so it's gonna be inside my assets. Let's just save this, and there you go, we have the back color. Now with the elevated button, I think we have to with this container instead, with the back color of this container, I think I prefer to use the shadow color. All right, let's use the shadow color for this container. And yeah, so why is it not working? All right, let's just hard reload this one more time and let's see. All right, let's just hard reload this one more time. All right, so we just have to replace this elevated button with a text button so that we can customize the colors. So yes, so just have this guy just like that. So I'm actually going to delete everything from here to this padding. Just delete everything, so we have only one button here, and as you can see, it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 buttons, right? So I have to add 7 buttons, but with this all, just turn it up to symmetric, and let's choose the horizontal for this. Good. So with this, let's set the vertical to, let's set the vertical to 2 or 3, or let's say 5. Let's set it up to 5. Okay, good. So now with this padding, you just have to copy that, paste it 6 times. So there you go, we have this right here. Perfect. Now we just have to go to the first to the second one, that is actually going to be the undo and the redo. So this is actually going to be undo, so I'm just going to say undo. This is going to be redo. Save that, and you get them here. So this is going to be the back, this is going to be undo, this is going to be redo. Perfect, and we are good to go. All right, let's see the next one, and that is going to be this full screen. So I'm just going to go here, then I say full screen. There you go. So we have the full screen, and also I can just check this out. That is going to be the settings and then the timeline. So this is going to be the settings, this is going to be the timeline, and also after the timeline, then we have the exit. So we need one more for the exit. So yeah, so that is all. So let's just save everything and let's see how it actually looks like. So this is how it actually looks like. So we can go ahead and then try to fit it up. You can take your time to work within this. You can set it up to maybe 50-50, and that can really work fine for you, depending on how you want it to be. So if you think 50-50 is quite good, you can just copy this width and height, then you just replace with all of them according to how you want to do it. just like that, and all of them is going to shrink down to that size. And also with the height of the main container, that is the the width of the main container, you can just set it up to 60. Boom, and there you go. It is very neat job. Excellent job done. Okay, so this looks amazing. Now let's see this window. That is actually going to be the play view, or let's say the screen where the videos will be playing, right? Okay, but from here you can see there is around it, but I think I am okay with this style, right? I am okay with this style. So let's now collapse all this container. We are done with them. Then let's come to the expanded. Now we have a container here that is the color of blue, and it comes along, that is the base color, and it comes along with, so let's just remove the color, and it comes along with an expanded widget, and that is the green guy here. So you can just set this to black. All right, so you can just set this back to black, and with a child we can just set it up to be a center widget, and inside just add an icon. So we can just easily add, let's say, a button, so that can be a text button, and no, you just have to add up a child that is going to be a text button, and inside this text button we have the unpressed, and we have the the child that is going to be an icon, and I'm just going to use icons.play rounded, that is going to be this play guy here. Perfect. All right, so I can easily set a color of this to colors.white. Perfect, and I'm good to go. So there you go. So I can just set a size. Also the size is actually going to be maybe 25. Let's set it up to 50. That is double times this. I can just set it up to 70, and it looks great, right guys? So now looking at this section is actually going to be the background color we have. So whilst we are done with this, we just have to take this color out, right? So we can add our to do here, and we can simply say let's just add a note here. This is where we will be making the controls, right? Just let's leave it like that for now, and we come down here with a down one as well. We just have to leave it like that, and that is where we're gonna add up our timeline, right? Good. So within the timeline aspect, let's just keep this blank as well. Let's save this. Yes, but with a container we just have to add a decoration to the container, and this decoration, we need a box decoration, and we can specify a border. That border can be an outline border, and we just, all right, so we're just gonna use border.all, and just gonna specify the color. So if there is any const here, maybe const, and it will just underline everything for you. So just remove the const from here, and border.all, and the color we're just gonna use any color. So I'm just gonna say colors.gray for now, and yeah, so let's just save this, and we will get a border like this with a gray color, right? So when you take a good look at this, you can see it actually have some sort of like a gray color itself. So there is a way of doing this, right? You can either wrap this whole thing with a padding, so it can just get a padding, and you just remove the border. That is the border. Just gonna remove the border, something like this, along with the decoration. And you can easily set the color of the container to maybe colors or gray, and that also is actually going to work. And you see it has, that rounded guy there. So I'll just go back to the color. Let's just try to set up the gray color to maybe 900 the strength. Let's see. Excellent. So I think I need this for now. All right, so we are 45 minutes, we've gone so far. And yeah, so let's try to work along with this. First of all, we have a to do here, and I'm just gonna close this. This is the timeline section, so this is where we're gonna add our controls. Okay, so with the controls, it is going to be a column. The child is going to be a column, and inside this column, just gonna specify the children, and the children, we need an expanded 3 expanded widgets. So we're gonna go in for expanded widget. The child is going to be a container, and I'm just going to set up the color for this, right? So let's see what we can do here. The color, I'm just gonna set it to colors.red here. So just gonna copy the expanded widget just like this, copy that, paste it 3 times, and with the expanded widget, I'm just gonna change the color to green and yellow, just like this. Save it up, and you see them here. Perfect. And that is actually going to be the division for this and that, right? So we have to give it a flex to be, the flex of this is going to be 2. So it's just going to divide them into 2. Okay, let's see how it's going to be. Perfect. So let's make it 3. Good. So you can see we have this guy here, but I think that 2 is quite enough. So let's make it 2. That is quite enough. So this guy is going to be the mic, this guy is going to be the layer, this guy is going to be the audio, and this guy is going to be the media, right? So what we're going to do is, with this container, let me just reformat the whole thing for us to see. And yeah, so let me just add a const modifier to this. Yeah, so with this container, the child here, the child is going to be a center widget, and that is going to be an image. So I'm just going to add an image. The child is going to be an image, and with the image is going to be an asset image, and I'm just going to call out that is the media. So I'm just going to say the media, how is it? I think that is the import. So I'm just going to copy the path, then I just paste it out here. Perfect. Excellent. Let's just reformat this. Good. Let's see. So there you go. So it is actually it's not going to be the yeah, it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be a button, right? So instead of returning an image, I'm just going to return, it's not going to be in the center widget, right? So I will just wrap it with an outline. So let's see what we can do here with the child, which is the center. Let's make it floating action button dot extended, and with the on press, I'm just going to leave it to be blank, and with the label, I'm just going to say is image, and that is where I bring in the image, and that is going to be the asset image. Then I just paste them here. So let's save this, and there we go. Right, good. So we have a container here, and we can specify the width to be 50 and the height to be 50. Right, there you go. So let's make it 30. I think 30 is quite enough. Interesting. Now we can wrap this whole floating action button with a padding, and yeah, good. And also we can continue to change this to 20 and 20, and it's going to shrink it out a little. Let's just leave it like that to be 30 30. Excellent. So we can, okay, let's see something here. Okay, so let's just try and wrap this floating action button with with a widget, which will just pin it up to the right side for us. So we wrap this floating action button with a widget, and the widget I'm going to use for this floating action button is align. So inside this align, I'm just going to specify the alignment, and it's going to be alignment dot, so I'm just going to say center right, and I save this, and that is actually going to put this to the right side for me. And yeah, so with a size of the icon, I can just set it to 25, and it's going to work perfectly fine. Good. So I can just go ahead, and with a floating action button background color, I can just use colors.gray, or I can just use shadow color. Oh, sorry. Can just use the shadow color. Then I save this. There you go. I have it right here. That looks amazing. So with a red color here, I just have to take it out, and I am good to go. Perfect. So taking a good look at this, you see, that is what we have here. You can indeed go ahead sorry, and you wrap this up with maybe instead of using a floating action button, you can either use a circular avatar. That is actually going to work as well. So you can either change the whole thing to a circular avatar, or let's say a circle avatar. Just remove the unpressed and just remove the label, then you just set the image to the image, right? Just do this. So it's actually going to be the child. So the child can be an image, and inside the image we just specify the image, then we do it this way. Perfect. And that is quite good as well. So that is going to give you the curve style. So there you go. It is very, very interesting. You can go ahead and then specify the radius of this to be maybe 30 or any size you want to use. Perfect. So that is it. And you can wrap this child with an inkwell so that it can be clickable, right? You can wrap it up with an inkwell so that it can be clickable. So if you want to do that, just go to wrap and you just say ink well, sorry. So with this inkwell, it has an unpressed, on tap. I think it is on tap. You just add the function. Perfect. So you have this here and it is clickable. Excellent. So whilst we are good to go, I think we have sorry, we have these two guys here, and those two guys are going to be in a row column, in a row form. So I'm just going to copy this whole alignment from the padding coming downwards. So up to the padding, I'll just copy everything. Then I come to the yellow section. So first of all, I'll just remove the yellow color, and the child of this is actually going to be a row, and the children is going to be this padding and another one. So there are going to be two paddings in there, right? So when I just quickly save this, you see the two paddings right there, right? Perfect. Now with this row here, I'll just use the main as is going to be space between, and that is going to stretch them up for me. Perfect. So looking up with the image, this is the store, this is the play, right? So just going to go here. This is going to be the store and this is going to be the play. Okay, so let's just reciprocate it. Excellent. Now we have this middle guy, and that is where the whole thing works, right? And that is where we add up our circle with all those scales and all that, right? That looks much more interesting. So we're gonna do that, and I don't know, we can continue to do this in so many ways. It's actually going to contain, as I said earlier on, this is going to contain it's going to be a column. We have one here, we have another row here, and we have another one here, right? So it's going to be in 4 section, and we have this type there. But I would like to do it in my own way. If I want to do it in my own way, that means I don't really, it's not necessarily for me to try to do it as the same thing as they did, but we can try and do it as the same thing as they did as well. Now when we go to Figma, right, when we just go to Figma can help us to do that in all means, right? So Figma, I think I have Figma somewhere here. So Figma can help you to do that. So I would like for us to end up here, and let me quickly just remove the green color. I don't want to see the color, so let me just comment it out and let's see how it's going to be. Perfect. So we are good to go, and we are moving gradually. All right, thank you very much guys for watching me on this particular episode. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't be missing any upcoming episode. And of course, I don't want this video to be very long, so I am trying to group them into different sections. All right, and then after this video, I will be releasing a video on a Figma how to create that circle circle widget, that is this widget, how to create this widget. I will be giving you a separate bonus video on how to create this in Figma so that you can just embed it in there, and that is actually going to make it very interesting. My name still remains Icesoft Original, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. And also the source code, the GitHub source code is being added to the description. Follow me on all my social media handles, and so that you can just get any updates as well. And also, if you think you want to support my channel, I have a Patreon link given to you in the description, and you can do that as well. All right then, so until we meet again on our next lesson, have a nice day, and Icesoft Original is out. Thank you very much, and bye bye.